Hi everyone, Rene Bastarache here, and this is Hypnosis Experts Live. And we apologize for being late. We had technical difficulties, but we're here. And while I'm setting up, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Let's see, we have Anthony here. Hi, Anthony. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. You, Rainey? Besides
Doing good.
technical difficulties, well,
And we have Eileen. Eileen, how you doing over there?
Good morning, everyone in Las
hey,
Vegas, and it's nice and cold. Hi, and I'm Elaine Jacobson, and my company is For Your Health, and it's nice to be on.
And Raluca. Hi, Raluca.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning, Raluca.
Morning, everyone. Seems like we had some logging issues and tech difficulties. I wrote to some other people who were asking on Facebook, but we're now live, finally.
Phew, okay, so that's done. And before we get started, I have some nice announcements I want to talk about. And let me go ahead and change the screen here a little bit if I can. Let's see, participants. Let's see, get a little side-by-side going so we could all see each other. All right, again, let's go ahead and get started here. What we have coming on next week, just so you know, we've invited Captain, I believe, Jordan Wolf. And Jordan is also a hypnotherapist instructor. And he does a lot of PTSD work with the military. So we've asked him to come on, and next week he's going to be telling us a lot about that. So that's very interesting. And over the next few weeks, we got a few more people coming. I know we have Lydia Wilson week from Bali, Indonesia. And she has a healing resort over there. And she'll be coming in and telling us about what she does there. And interesting person. I have actually known her for over 20 years. And I met her 20 years ago where she actually healed me of PTSD that I had from 20 years earlier from the military. And she does a lot with forgiveness therapy, which is what we're going to talk about. And let's see. And after that, we got somebody from Hungary coming over. And this is interest, helping women with people that can't get pregnant because of mental blocks.
Oh.
And she actually releases that using past life regression. She's done quite a few of these, so really interesting. So that's what we get for the next few weeks. And just looking at the screens here, Aline, is there a way that you can make your head come up a little bit, maybe sit on some books or something,
Sure.
or bring the camera down?
I'm going to bring the camera down. All right, let's see how is that better? There we are.
There we go. Okay, we're seeing the top of your head, and your name was crossing out your head. You know, we don't want that. Great.
No, we certainly don't, although it's early in the morning here.
There we go. Let's see, what do we got besides that coming up? So those are the people that are coming up the next few weeks. Other than that, for announcements, we're going to be having a drawing and a giveaway today, so stay tuned for that. And also, we just finished, Raluca, I've been working busy beavers all week. We just finished a weight loss certification course that we put out yesterday. A lot of people have enjoyed our smoking one, so we've had a lot of call for that. So we put out a weight loss certification course. So it's actually one of our more complex, or I guess you could say largest courses we put out in a while. It has videos and audios and hypnosis manual. It has, matter of fact, a whole, I think it's a 8 or 9 volume MP3 weight loss program as well as a bonus with it. So there's quite a bit of things you want to click on that. We'll have a link underneath this video afterwards because it's hard to put the links on before you start. So as soon as this is over, go to the link to that. It is on pre-sale right now, so it's a really good offer up until Sunday. And let's see. Oh, something else coming up. And next Thursday night, okay, you guys might even be interested. Thursday night at 6 p.m., I am going to be doing a group past life regression session online, and I need 8 volunteers. 8 total. And yeah, did
Oh,
I
that
do
was
10?
10,
No, 8,
10,
8,
10,
8.
10.
So I need 8 volunteers for that. And something happened with the screen. I'm able to see you guys, but I cannot see myself. So I'm hoping I'm on screen the whole time.
You
And
are.
if anyone who'd like to volunteer for that, go ahead and email me. And also, if the email isn't underneath there or on the page, it will be at the end. And this is actually for an upcoming program we're doing. So we need to videotape a group session. This is why you don't have to pay for it. It's free because we are going to use you in our advertising later. Matter of fact, I'm thinking I might even pick one of the people from those 8 and do an individual session afterward, just so you can see the difference between the two. And there's quite a bit of difference. So that is going to be happening next Thursday night. So I need the volunteers to contact me as soon as possible. It's going to be on a first come, first serve basis. And let's see, what else do we have going on besides that? Yes, I think, yeah,
Well,
pretty much
that's
I went through it quicker than I thought. And tonight we're going to be talking, or this morning, excuse me, we're going to be talking about instant and rapid inductions. And I know I've been having a lot of question about it. To me, instant and rapid inductions is one of the most interesting things about hypnosis. Everybody's heard about them, everybody knows about it, but it's one of the least spoken things, right? It's hard to find training on it, and training you do find on it is kind of iffy and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm going to be giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, you can hypnotize anybody on the streets. You can, but if, and all this. So we're going to go into the buts and the ifs and learn the background behind it. Like I said, it's talked about everywhere, but not taught about everywhere. It's kind of like a hidden hush-hush thing. And matter of fact, even I think we were talking about that Elaine, about,
yes.
maybe doing some kind of a course or coming out. So this is it. So as we're talking about it, not only am I going to be looking for questions and comments from the audience. If you have questions and comments you'd like to ask about it, go ahead as we're doing it. And I want to start out by, we're going to start out by showing you a video or a small clip of me doing instant and rapid inductions. Now with this program, I could put the video on, but what Anthony and I found out earlier is that the sound doesn't come out on it, so I'm going to talk over the video so you can see what's going on. You have any questions about it or comments before we get started? Instant, rapid?
Nope.
Not beforehand.
How's
We'll
that?
get you afterwards.
Okay. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and put us on a screen share here in a second. And this should be it right here. And are you all seeing that screen right now?
Yes.
This here is it's the beginning. It's a clip right now, but it's going to be a video of a high school comedy show I did. Now, this is just the beginning of it. I do instant inductions to get people into hypnosis quickly, because when you're doing a comedy hypnosis show like this here, these people came to see, they don't want to see a 10-minute relaxation and induction and all that. They just want to, boom, get into it because they want to be entertained. So what I did was, there is preparation work. I went around, I spoke to them first. I told them to put their hands out, to clasp their hands together like they're doing. Their eyes are closed. Now, they're actually not in hypnosis, but they are. As soon as you close your eyes, you're beginning to get in a hypnotic state anyways. So basically all they did here is they closed their eyes. I filled in the seat so there's no gaps. And I told them to put their hands out, clasp their hands, and in just a minute I'm going to come around the room and I'm going to touch your hands. And as soon as I touch your hands, your arms are going to drop and your head's going to drop to the person's shoulder on the right of you, and you'll go into a deep hypnotic state. So you're not going to hear me say sleep, sleep, sleep. So I'm going to go ahead and say it as I'm doing it so you know what I'm saying as I'm touching their hands. So here we go. So I'm going sleep, 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 sleep. You say it as you're touching them. This guy had to put his head the other way, otherwise he would have fell on the floor. Okay? So they all fall on the right except for that one. Sleep, 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 sleep. Don't fall on the floor. Okay. I learned that the hard way. Okay. There's nothing worse than having somebody on the floor and you go, oops, you feel no pain. You feel great. Okay, so that was basically, we'll go ahead and take that off screen share now. And let's see, where is the screen share? There we go. Here we go. So
Oh, that was fun.
that was that was just a short one. If you go on our site or go on my YouTube site, you'll find quite a few, punch in instant inductions, and you'll find quite a few instant induction demonstrations like that. So let's go ahead and start talking about them. Instant inductions
Okay.
are just a way of bringing you into a deep state of hypnosis or a state of hypnosis, doesn't have to be deep, very quickly. Instead of, because normally what you would do is you'd come in, you'd do a, body scan. And this is how, when I first started doing comedy, that's how I did it. I did a body scan, I want you to relax your eyes, your nose, your mouth, all the way down. Then you do a deepener, and then you start taking them into hypnosis, because there's different levels of hypnosis. And like when you're doing comedy, there's different levels of skits. I can't just have somebody not be able to see something, cause hallucinations right away. I have to start, because that's like a level 4 or a level 5. Amnesia, for instance, is a level 4 skit. You have to bring them in the 4th level, what they call the Aaron's depth scale. So we start off with level 1 skits, 2 skits, 3 skits, and that's how I get them to the point where we get to negative hallucinations, where you can't see something that is there. For instance, I want them to look out into the audience and there's nobody there. And I've had people crying. They thought the show was over and they want to go home and everybody's gone and they don't hear nothing or see anything and the whole audience is there laughing and screaming, okay? But that's the deepest level of hypnosis, level 6. At that point, their eyes are open. They wouldn't even think they're in hypnosis, but they're in the deepest level to where you can do open heart surgery on them and they wouldn't feel it. So that's also level 6. So people say, oh, comedy, they're not very deep. They're actually a lot deeper than you'd probably ever have them in your office. So you can learn a lot from comedy because of that, especially when it comes to the levels. So anyways, to start out, instead of taking that long time to bring them in hypnosis, an instant induction is just a way to instantly bring them there. Difference between an instant induction and a rapid induction is a rapid is an instant induction that just, it takes a little bit longer. It's just not instant. So rapid inductions are better for during a session. If you're doing a session and you want to bring somebody deeper and you go up to some lady that's, let's say, 85 years old and you go, sleep, she'd probably get what are you doing? But if you come up to her and say, in just a moment, I'm going to do this and that, and I want you to push down on my hand, and as you push really hard, push, and I pull my hand out, you're going to sleep. You see what I mean? It gives the same jarring movement, and that was a rapid instead of an instant. And, oh, hey, James, we have James that just came in. We got some people starting to come in here. So some of the misconceptions, I guess, and you can ask your questions, as we go, is can you just walk up to somebody on the street and say, sleep, and they go down? Well, yes and no. Okay, I mean, we see it on TV all the time. You see YouTube videos of them doing it, but what you don't see is the preparation work behind the scene. Okay, if I come up to somebody and go sleep on the street, they're probably going to open their eyes and say punch and hit me back, okay? So you basically need to let somebody know that you're going to be doing something to help them to get into hypnosis or to help them to relax or to drop fast for a skit. They know it's going to happen, and then they allow it. Because remember, in hypnosis, you can't be made to do anything you don't want to do. So, if I come up and try to make you go to sleep or make you, go into a state like that, you're going to resist. Now, no one is immune to an instant induction. They work on everybody. However, anyone can resist it, and that's where the problem arises. I'll hear people say, oh, I tried it and it didn't work. Oh, it did work. The person just opened their eyes back and says, hey, what are you doing? Or I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? On stage when we do it, okay, the thing is, when I'm doing a comedy hypnosis, I'm asking for volunteers to come up. So people that are most open-minded are going to come up. So that leaves the analytical ones in the seats. And then I test them and I weed them down to the most non-analytical. So on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 1, 2, 3 being the most non-analytical, those are the ones that are on stage. The rest aren't going to come up. They don't want to be made fun of, I guess. They don't want people to laugh at them. Analytical people aren't nuts about that, but non-analytical people, they're like, hey, why not? And those are the ones you want. Right? Those are the ones that are going to come up. So keep that in mind when you see a comedy hypnosis show. Yes, it is real. No, it's not staged. But those are the kind of people that want to do that, and they're going to do it the easiest. Okay, they're into it. Other people, like I said, you have to let them know. And if you went up to somebody that didn't really want it to happen, they're just going to open their eyes. Okay, but they are going to feel it. What's the feeling like? You ever walk, like we have a set of stairs we go up and down every day. You ever walk down a set of the stairs and you missed the last one, you didn't realize it was there, and so you have one more step and you go, like when you hit, it's almost like kind of like a falling feeling, like a feeling, and you don't know what happened. I think we just lost somebody here. We lost Anthony. So you get that feeling when you hit the bottom step. That's kind of the feeling. It's almost like when you push somebody's head or pull their arm while they're in hypnosis, they're going to have that feeling. Okay. So it's kind of like missing a step, kind of like when you're on the edge of the bed sleeping, you're so sleepy and you go to roll over and you roll the wrong way and you almost fall out of bed, but you grab yourself, that same type feeling, okay? Now, like I said, there's different levels of hypnosis. So when we're doing skits, usually I start out by telling somebody, or telling the group, try to open your eyelids. You won't be able to open them. On the count of 3, they'll be stuck like they're glued. 1, your eyes are fused shut. 2, you cannot open them. 3, go ahead and try. You cannot, and they're like this, like that, and stop trying. That's a level 1 skit. Then I go to a level 2 skit where maybe their tongue is stuck in their mouth and go to talk, tell me your name, they're like, or even better, the tongue is stuck outside their mouth, and they try to talk to you, and it's pretty funny. Then, you get into the ones where their feet are stuck, but keep in mind, like, you can't remember your name. That's when we're real starting to have fun. That's level 4. Oops, level 4. See, I went 5, but 4. So level 4 is amnesia. You tell them, so on the count of 3, you won't be able to remember your name. Even if I tell you your name, you won't know it. That's kind of fun, okay? So what's your name? So Anthony would go, they don't know. Or, you forget your last name. So what's your first name? Anthony. Middle name. You say your middle name. Last name. And I'll go right down the group and ask every one of them. And you'll see them practicing before you get to them. They'll go, Smith, or read, And when you get there, what is it? Ooh. And is it read? You go, no. Let me see your ID. So they give me a wallet, and, I'll pull your ID out. So is that your name? And I'll show you, read. No. That's not your license? No. So I'll say, thank you. It must be my wallet, and I keep it, right? I give it. But anyway, it makes a good skit. But it's quite puzzling. You know it's your name until you go to say it, and it's just not right. See what I mean? So, again, those are the different levels, and you keep on going up from there. So getting back to how would you, there's different kinds. On this one, for an instant induction on stage, that one you saw, I pretty much told them, I'm going to come around. As soon as I touch your hands, I say touch your hands. You don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to, as soon as you feel me touch your hands are going to drop, and you go into a deep state. Now, their hands are like this, and when I touch their hands, I actually put my hand just above it. I don't slap it. And what I do is I kind of push, I kind of touch and push it at the same time. So I go sleep like that. So their body is like this, and it goes like that. It's kind of they could feel not real heavy. It doesn't have to be like, the faith healers on TV. I heal, don't have to do that. And by the way, that is a instant induction. Heal, sleep, pretty much works the same way. So anyways, they're going to drop forward and just let go. Now, one key feature here about when you do an instant induction, continue talking. I learned this the hard way, okay? You got to continue talking because the people are listening to you. They have their eyes closed. You just did this weird thing to them where, you knocked them into next week, more or less. You're their landline. As long as you keep talking, they know it's okay. But if you stop talking, they go, huh, and they open their eyes and go, what happened? What happened? You see what I mean? And when you do that, you kind of lost them and you got to start all over. So saying that, the first comedy show I ever did was at Funtown, USA, which is the theme park here in Saco, Maine. And I had people, and I'd done comedy shows before, but I also always did the 20-minute, the induction and the deepeners, all this stuff. But this time I was going to do an instant induction. So I had about maybe 12 people on stage, and I told them what to do, and I went from person to person, and I said, sleep, 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 sleep. And their heads were dropping. And when I went down the line, I turned around. They were all like this, kind of like the Ever-Ready battery commercial there, what they have with no batteries. They're all kind of people like, I don't know if you saw it. If you watched Saturday Night Live years ago, there was an Ever-Ready battery commercial for people with pacemakers, and the people were all like this. And one guy was waving. You guessed it. He has our Ever-Ready battery. But I
Oh
kind of
my
looked like
God,
that.
you're horrible.
It was funny, but no, it would be a terrible thing to do.
All right.
But I went down to, sleep, 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 sleep. I turned around and looked at everybody, and I was shocked. It worked, I was so shocked that I didn't say anything, and one by one, they all started opening their eyes and looking at me, and it was like, damn. So guess what? I had to do a relaxation, an induction, and a deepener. I had to start from the beginning again. That night, I asked someone, someone that that had been doing this for a while, what happened? He goes, "Did you keep on talking, or were you quiet?" I said, "I was quiet. I was shocked." He says, "They lost you. They lost their landline, so they opened their eyes to see what was happening." And it's the same as a hypnotherapist doing a session. If you started doing your session and you just walked away in the other room to have lunch or something, or to answer the phone, your client's going to open his eyes and say, "Where is she? Where is he?" So it's the same type thing. So you got to keep talking. Doesn't matter what you say. Even if you're giving them your grocery list, they don't care. So I go, sleep, 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 go around. Now, if you notice, and I talk to the audience a lot, you notice all of them right now, they're very relaxed. They can hear everything I'm saying, because they are wide awake. They're in hypnosis. They're not asleep. Even though we use the word sleep, it's a misnomer. Okay, so they can hear everything I say. They're just in a relaxed state. Okay, and that's what hypnosis is. And then I continue going on and going to my next skit. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell. That's a stage induction. Now, a lot of people that are going to be listening to this are going to be saying, well, how about doing instant inductions or rapid inductions, with clients? What other kind are there if I don't want to be a stage hypnotist? Okay, so that's what we're going to get into. Hi, Boban just came on. And I brought a volunteer to help me do inductions because, of course, I'm the only one in the office right now. So, and I got a really happy volunteer I think you're all going to like to see. Okay, I call him Happy. Hi.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Well, Luca, how do you put up with that?
Notice we look twinnish. I know you'll get confused which one is which, right? Because we're both so, adorable.
Yeah, never mind. We're not going to tell you what we think.
If I had a beard on him, boy, we'd be in trouble. Kind of.
Maybe it's a female.
Nah. Okay, no, it's a male. I know. I bought him. Okay, and you know how I know it's not female? His name is Bob.
No.
Bob.
Never mind. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
If he was female with a name like Bob, it would be terrible, okay? That's worse than a boy named Sue, okay? So, Bob and I are going to do instant inductions, okay? And see everybody? James, Boban, it's Bob. Okay, are you ready, Bob?
Oh, my God.
All right, now, there's different kinds you can do, and
There was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do, really.
I'm sorry,
Reluca resisted. She resisted. She says, "Don't do it. Don't walk towards the light." But no, I wouldn't do it. But that's another whole walk
Oh,
towards
my
the light.
God.
Don't walk
Reluca, you
towards
get
the
a
light.
Purple Heart for putting up with him.
I thought she was talking about light beer. I didn't know. Walk towards the
No.
light. Okay. Anyway, okay, I got a list of different ones, okay? Some of them and we're going to talk about the most controversial ones first, okay? These can be done in sessions, but be careful because these have to do with the head, okay? Now, Bob is lucky because Bob doesn't have a neck, so I can't really hurt Bob's neck, but with a person, if you're doing these on the head, you want to be careful that you don't hurt their neck.
Yes.
Okay, so anytime you do something, like I said, that jarring movement and say sleep, they're going to, be able to go into it. So what I would do with Bob here, I'm trying to move this around so I can still see my notes and see if anyone's talking here. Hey, Joshua's on there. Long time no see, Josh.
Hello,
Hey,
Josh.
Okay.
Oh, my
so
God.
What? Okay, Bob, is this okay? Yes. Now, you don't have to be crazy to be a hypnotherapist, but it helps. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I would come up to
Oh,
Bob.
my God.
Hey,
You just ruined it for all of us.
Close your eyes, Bob. Okay, Bob is is sitting with his eyes closed in the chair. All right. So what I would do is I come up to Bob and say, in just a moment, I'm going to touch you on the side of the head, and as soon as I do, you're going to allow yourself to let go and to go into a deep hypnotic state. And I would come over on the side of the head and just push it a little bit and go sleep. So it's kind of like it's not sleep, whoa, bouncing off the wall. Sorry, Bob. You would just give it a little sleep, okay? Because kind of like sleep, because you don't want to snap their neck. Now, a good way to take care of that is if I'm going to do this, I keep my other hand over here. Kind of, I need to bite him. Okay, so I keep this hand over here so when I go to push, I can catch him. You see what I mean? So otherwise,
Now you
Bob,
know why I don't do this.
well, yeah, because you wouldn't have your hand here and Bob's head would go flying. Okay, so
That's right.
Raluca, can you bring Bob back? No, I'm kidding. He's right here.
No.
Mitzi, get Bob. Okay, anyways, that's why Bob was hesitant about doing this. He's looking for the cat. Okay. All right.
And I hope
So,
the cat gets him.
yeah. Another
Yeah,
way
no,
to
I
do
was
it.
going to say, don't do that. She's sleeping. Okay,
I know.
don't do that.
Another way to do it, instead of doing it on the side, is on the front, okay? I call this the faith healing induction, okay? Where instead of going sleep, you go like this here and you go sleep. Again, you want to have your hand there, so when you push, you go sleep and you catch it. Okay, so sleep, catch it, sleep, catch it. Because if you don't, you can snap their neck. So having said those are the only two that you can hurt someone because of neck injury. So those are the last two you would do. That's why I spoke about them first. So that way you'll have the others, in your memory more fresh. How's that? All right. So getting away from the neck, the other ones we can do are with the arms. Those are the ones I do in sessions most of the time. Okay. So Bob. Oh, sorry. He doesn't have an arm. Okay. So we'll put him over there.
Thank God.
Bob is not armed. Do not worry. Okay. So what we're going to do, Anthony's the only one that got it. All right.
This is,
Yeah,
this
no,
is
we
folks,
got it.
This is the
We're
light
just-
version.
Hey,
Light version.
you should be happy. Raluca has to put up with this all the time. Okay, let's
I know.
see.
She
In the
deserves
comedy-
the Medal of Honor. The Medal of
In the-
Honor, Raluca.
I was going to say, in the comedy hypnosis shows, when he did the comedy hypnosis shows, it was off the wall. Yeah.
I would bet. He is off the wall.
We had fun. I enjoyed them as much as they did. Sometimes it's hard to do a show. It's probably the most fun you'll ever have in hypnosis, okay? And I do shows, and it's so hard to stop laughing so I can continue doing it, some of the things these people do. But, again, watch some of the videos. Watch some of the videos on my site for comedy hypnosis, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so somebody's in the chair, and they have their arms on the side of the chair, okay? There's a few ways you can do it. So let's say this person's sleeping, and this is his arm on the recliner. Okay, now, I never touch anyone in hypnosis unless I tell them first. There's nothing worse than going up to somebody that's really relaxed, and you say, hey, how you, they're going to jump up, and their clothes are still going to be there. It's like they're right out of their clothes. So what you do is, Bob, I'm coming over around to your right side. In just a moment, I'm going to take you by the right wrist, and I'm going to lift your arm up and hold it up in the air for a second, okay? If you understand me, nod your head. So he nods his head. So, okay, Bob, now I'm coming over to your right side. I'm going to take you by the wrist. I'm going to lift up your wrist, and I just want you to sleep. And what I do is, as I say sleep, I have him by the wrist. I just yank on it a little bit, not enough to pull their arm out of the socket. Because I know when I have people practice this, they go sleep, and it's like, Bam Bam on the Flintstones. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, it's more of a follow through pull. Okay, but when you're pulling like this, it doesn't seem like much. But when your eyes are closed and somebody does that, it's like, whoa, you see what I mean? So it's like you're pulling the arm forward, but not the whole body. So I just want you to sleep. And that's pretty much it. Now, another one that works really well where you don't have to worry about pulling or pushing or anything like that is I want you to lift your arm up in the air. Okay, so you tell them, they lift their arm up in the air. And then you take your hand and you put your hand here underneath it. I want you to push down on my hand as hard as you can. Now, don't do this for a long time because you're going to get tired. So say in just a moment, okay, I'm going to do something that's going to help you to relax, quite a bit. So here, go ahead and push and push and push. Now have your other hand waiting underneath to catch their hand. What you're going to do is you're going to pull your hand out and say, sleep. And, of course, their hand is going to go right down because they were pushing on it. But have your other hand there to catch it. I can't stress that enough, okay? Because if the hand is over, the arm of the chair, they can hit the arm of the chair, and if it's a hard arm, they could hurt their wrist. Or if the hand is in the middle, they could hit themselves, and they're going to start sounding like Michael Jackson. So you want to be really careful what they hit. You just got the Michael to say. Anyway, so if you catch it, they're going to be completely fine. So it's basically your hands up here, and when you pull it out, they're going to be coming down, and boom, and you're catching it that way. And you're going to see them physically droop a little bit, and you're going to hear that sound. So that that kind of lets you know that it worked. But the thing is, when you do it, again, continue to talk. So, now allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into relaxation. You'll feel good. So, you want to make sure you keep talking or you're going to lose them. Okay, let me see. What's another one we can use? Pretty much any. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do not like using that in a session. I really, really enjoy spending time talking to the client, getting to know what they want and what they're all about. So for me, it really is a staged thing that you do. Yeah. And I know Jordan, Captain Jordan, I know he uses instant induction, and it helps him work with his client. That I do know for a fact. But I don't do that. I'm not comfortable.
The majority of hypnotherapists don't. There's really no need for it in a regular session because they're there to relax anyway. But sometimes you're in a situation where you're hurried. Like I would use it if I was going someplace and someone was in a lot of pain and I wanted to hypnotize them to get rid of pain. I'd probably use an instant induction to get in real quick and get rid of the pain. If I was at a public place or someone is really antsy, kids, people that have difficulty relaxing, more analytical people. In Jordan's case, where you're dealing with PTSD and people who are already stressed, sometimes you need to get past things, and it'll help. So it has its place.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd say most hypnotherapists don't use them because, number one, they're not comfortable with them. They've never practiced them. That's why they're not comfortable. But see, I was a comedy hypnotist for many years when I first started, so I'm very comfortable with them. I've literally hypnotized thousands of people with them. So it's second nature, but I don't use them in most sessions. In an office session, there's really no reason to because somebody's coming in and, they have expectations of spending a half an hour there. I mean, I can do a half to 3/4 an hour session in 5 minutes and it'll be just as effective. But then they're going to say, I didn't get my money's worth,
Exactly.
So it doesn't, so again, I'm just, explaining it for those people that do want to use them so they understand how. And actually it will help you with a regular session too, because it helps you to understand what's going on in the person's mind, especially if someone who's never used one and all of a sudden they see their client, something happens and they go, and they're saying, what was that? They probably just brought themselves deeper because of something. Because it doesn't have to be just a touch feel. It could be a sound. It could be, there's a lot of different reasons why someone might go deeper really fast, So, so it has its place. I know when I first got in hypnosis over 20 years ago, if you said instant induction, a lot of the old-time hypnotists were, I'd never use that. That's because they were scared of them and they never used them. And they would
Correct.
criticize it. They would criticize it as some kind of hokey-pokey thing. But if you really look at it, you're going to take people a lot deeper with that than normal because
Yes.
just look at a show. But they all, most of them thought comedy hypnosis shows were fake, and they're not. If you tried to fake a comedy hypnosis show, it wouldn't be half as funny, and the people wouldn't
No.
be half as good, So
Right.
now, how do you do a instant induction for someone who is really analytical? Oh, Anthony, there's a good person for this one here.
I'm really analytical.
I can't use Bob for this, Anthony. Okay, so you're going to take his place. Now I'm going to have you do part of it so you can see how the induction works, because it's something that's very physical for an analytical person. The only thing I'm not going to be able to do is the sleep, So for that, I'll just have you stop and I'll tell you when I would normally do it. Okay. So here's what I would tell the client to do. Okay, Anthony. You're going to probably have to bring your arms up so people can see you. What I want you to do is I want you to go like this with your hands, okay? And you tell somebody, okay, and then you're going to have them close their eyes and follow you as quickly as you can without messing up. So close your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go faster, 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 faster. Reverse direction. Okay, slower, slower. Reverse direction. Reverse direction. Faster, 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 faster. Reverse direction. Slower, slower. Reverse direction. You're going to keep on doing this faster, faster until I give you a reason to stop. Reverse direction. Slower, slower, slower. Faster, faster, faster. And sleep. Okay, now stop. Now, what I would have done right then when I said and sleep, I would have taken my hand while he was doing that, said and sleep with his head and grab the other side or forward. And as soon as I say sleep, his hands are going to drop. Because now, Anthony, tell me what you were feeling when you're going faster and faster and you're waiting for me to tell you to stop. What were you thinking?
Oops.
It's like, this is kind of like a computer processor. I'm working so hard on this stuff and trying to wait for that next thing to try to get it, that if something comes out completely unknown, what you're not expecting, it's going to overload your processor.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's that's it.
and that's an analytical induction, basically.
It brings you to critical mass, so then you stop fighting it as an analytical person. You're going to fight because your mind wants to stay busy. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the analytical mind wants to be the best at everything. Oh, I can do this faster. And eventually, you want to do it long enough.
That's what my wife says.
Yeah, you look at the person's face and you see them getting frustrated, and you want to wait for that point where they're hitting their hand. You say reverse, and they're kind of getting confused. They're hitting their hand a little bit. Once they're frustrated, they're looking for a reason to stop. But when you say sleep, finally, that's kind of how they feel. Boom, they drop, and they drop hard. So I've done that with a lot of analytical people on and off stage, for demonstrations and sessions. And so it works really well. But you have to do it long enough for them to get frustrated, or they won't stop. And if they're not getting frustrated, make them go faster, reverse direction, kind of mix it up so they get confused. That's the whole idea. So that's my analytical one. These you can use anything. The suggestibility tests, you have them put their arms out, arm rising, falling, okay. I want you to put your arms out, imagine the balloon, and this one's really heavy, and you touch them on the wrist, you can feel how heavy it is. I just want you to sleep. You see what I mean? Any induction can be turned into one. Even the finger tests, when they're going, when you're having them look in there and there's a rubber band, you can just put your hands right over theirs and go sleep. Even a pendulum, when you're doing the pendulum test, you can do it on the back of their head. So you can do them from anything. The thing is, with hypnosis, the people that come to see you as the professional, so they already have this expectancy and this belief in you that pretty much anything you tell them, because you've become the person of authority, they're going to accept those suggestions for the most part, unless they're real analytical. So you could even do something that's not a hypnotic technique, and they're going to believe it is if you tell them it is. When I'm talking about, I had a woman, she was a nurse in one of my hypnosis, just regular hypnosis certification classes. So I had the nurse come up front, and I said, I'm going to show you what I call the hypnotic nerve induction. And I told her, I said, take off your glasses. There's a nerve right over here. If I touch it just right, as soon as I touch it, you're going to drop into a very deep state of hypnosis, even deeper than any of the other ones. I says, it's called the hypnotic nerve. Says, you ready? She goes, yeah. So she closed her eyes, and I just snapped my fingers here, and I said, sleep. And boom, she dropped. And I looked at everybody in the class, I had to open her eyes. I says, how many of you would like to learn that? And they're all like, hands went up. If I was going to charge you $30 to learn that, how many of you would still want to learn it? Hands are still up. I'd like to take your money, but there's no such thing. I just made it up. I looked at the nurse. I says, you're a nurse. Where's the hypnotic nerve? There's no such thing. He's like, he was all embarrassed and started laughing. There isn't, but once you've done a few of these, and you'll see if you ever do public speaking where you do a couple of these on stage, have somebody come up and do that. Have like one of the most intelligent, if it's a doctor or a very analytical professional, and do it, and they drop right down. And then you let them know there's no such thing, just to show you the power of suggestion. So it's once you get doing these, like I said, you could use pretty much anything. Let's see, what have we done so far? The hand clasp one, which is the one I did on stage, okay. Let's see. You can do pendulum, circular arm motion, which is the one I showed you, hypnotic nerve. You can do them if people are sitting, standing. The one I said where you push the head, like the faith healer one, that can be done sitting or standing, okay. Standing, if you're going to have them do it, this is where you see on TV where they have the faith healers and they push their head back and they have 2 or 3 people behind. You want to have somebody ready to catch them because they're going to fall backwards. Have you ever done the postural sway induction before? Where you get behind, tell them you feel the magnetic pull on your shoulders. You ever done that one? It's one of my favorite ones. You have the person standing up and you get behind them and you put your hands on their shoulders and you say, I want you to imagine a steel bar in your shoulders and strong magnets in my hands. So we'll say, you can't see yeah, you can. So this is their shoulders, okay? So I have my hands. As I pull my hands backwards, you're going to feel the strong magnetic pull, and you're going to fall backwards, but don't worry, I will catch you. You got to say that. And then you start pulling your hands, but patting it a little as you're doing it. And they're going to feel the heat from your hands because it's a natural energy that comes out of your hand. That's the whole basis of Reiki, okay? It's healing from your hands.
Correct.
So as you're doing that, they're going to feel the heat. And the thing is, as you do this, you can keep on going further and further. They're still going to feel it. But I'll do this, and you'll see their body starting to sway. And I'll say, just feel that magnetic pull coming back further and further and further. And then you're going to see them going like this, and boom, they're going to fall. And it's almost like a tree. Usually they don't fall and kind of grab themselves. They actually fall all the way back, and you catch them. Don't get too far back because you won't be able to catch them. Okay, so the whole idea is just enough to make them like that. Okay, and even that can be turned into an instant induction if you say sleep at the same time. But that's a very strong suggestibility test to do with people because most of them say, I didn't think I was going to feel it. I didn't think it was going to happen. And you created such a belief system when you did that. Now they're right there. But, okay, before we go any further, do we have some people watching? And I am going to do a drawing. Okay, so here's my
Oh
pen.
my goodness gracious.
No, that's not that kind of drawing. Okay, I'm going to do a drawing, so you have to answer a question to win this drawing, okay? My question is, we spoke about the Aaron depth scale. Now, you guys don't answer it, okay? This is for the watchers here. We spoke about the Aaron's depth scale. In order for you to go through, amnesia, what level of the Aaron's depth scale? I already said this at the beginning of the thing. What level of the Aaron depth scale are you at to go through amnesia? Okay? Go ahead and answer that, and whoever answers that will win. Let's see. Ooh, something having to do with instant inductions. So, what's that?
Your mic is off,
Oh,
for
yeah,
Lucas.
her mic is off.
Raluca, you're muted.
Yeah, I was just saying, now everybody's backpedaling the video to see what
Ah,
I'm
yeah, they're all
doing.
backpedaling the video. So if anyone's watching the video, let me go back here to see if I got to go. Where's my slide? There's my slide, so I can go. Okay, what level of the Aaron's depth scale do you need to be in to go through amnesia? Now, before I came on tonight, I was kind of researching the instant and rapid inductions, and I found a course that I made a while back. I think it was like probably about a 7-video course on instant and rapid inductions, giving all kinds of videos and showing a lot of the stuff we went over here. But everything's on, video training, everything's there, complete course on instant and rapid induction. So whoever answers the drawing right, I'm going to send them the entire course free. Aha. Cool, huh? So, did all these people leave? Anybody seen anybody answering? You have
Nope.
until the first one does it. So I'll probably have to ask it again. Come on, James. I know you're there. Boban. they're probably like you said, listening, trying to replay it. Oh, where
If
is
they're
it?
listening, just throw out a guess.
Yeah. No, yeah. Whoever gets it right will win. And if nobody gets it right here, whoever leaves a comment after the show, the first one that gets it, I'll still send it to them. So it's a free drawing. And just for those of you that watch this on recording later, look to see. I'm going to put down somebody already won, so I don't get like 1,000 people saying, I did it. So it's going to be a free comedy hypnosis. I call it a mini course. They're short videos, but it's kind of fun because it shows a lot of those different inductions. And it even shows I think I have a video of the nurse when I did the hypnotic nerve. She's in there. A lot of the hand ones are things you would do in session as well. So any questions? Go ahead. Questions online, questions from you folks about instant rapid inductions, or are you all pros yet?
So they had,
Oh, heck no.
I know there's one that I'd seen Richard Bandler do handshake induction.
Mm-hmm.
I think where he goes to shake your hand, and then when you reach your hand out, he grabs your hand and sticks it on your head.
Yeah.
And
that's a variation of the Ericksonian induction.
yeah.
There's so many different things you could do. A handshake is a very strong one because people have expectations of what's going to happen when you shake their hand, okay? When you go to shake somebody's hand and it's a very strong, firm handshake, they say that's always good, like in business. I've shaken people. You ever notice how when you go to shake somebody's hand, they give you the fish handshake?
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Where it's
That's
like
such a creepy feeling.
It's like, ah! That's why you always check your hand is dry before you hand, when you go to shake somebody's hand and it's clammy, okay? Or the weak hand. What's that?
Icky.
Icky, yeah.
I hate the clammy hand. Ooh, not good.
Now, Raluca, I'm going to tell them about your brother, okay? When I first met her,
Clammy hand.
clammy. Oh, it's kind of slimy, clammy.
Oh,
Oops.
okay.
When I first met her brother's kind of a funny guy. I went to shake his hand. When I say funny, comedian. I went to shake his hand, and when I went to shake his hand, he grabbed my hand, and he went like he was going to kiss my hand, but he kissed his own. Really weird. He went like this, and he went, and I was like, it kind of. You see, just me explaining it, I'm doing that again. It kind of like you skip a loop. It's like, huh? What just happened there? And that's the hypnotic state right there. That's when you would say sleep, or that's the induction. It's kind of like missing that step, or saying sleep, or when he took your hand and put it up on your head, or it's like if I went to shake your hand, you went to shake my hand, and just as I went to shake it, I'd go like this and scratch my head. Same thing. It's like a high five when nobody high fives you back. They leave you hanging. That's that same loop. So it can be done with high fives. It can be done with handshakes. Sometimes somebody will grab your hand and they'll flip it over and push it down. There's a lot of different variations. Or just the regular inductor would go to shake your hand, sleep, pull the guy towards you.
So what I heard, and this just everything that you've told me so far kind of validates this, is that once you get their brain kind of in that as soon as they're in that state, they will accept any suggestion.
Pretty much, yeah. Because what happens?
Sleep, they know what that means, and so
exactly.
they follow through.
Yeah, it's like when you get in that state, that confusion, that's when your conscious mind is off guard. Picture a British guard standing in front of a doorway. So he's standing in front of that doorway right there, and I'm trying to get in, and he's guarding it. My job as a hypnotherapist is to get that British guard out of the way so I can get into the door, into the subconscious mind. And that's where suggestions, that's the strongest place. So with regular hypnosis, I would relax the guard and tell him, sit in this chair, here's a drink, and he relaxes, and he's not asleep, but he just doesn't care. And I get suggestions through. That's how the majority of people work. Now, just because they're the majority, we think they're the easiest, and most people are scared of analytical people, but analytical are the easiest. It's just that they're a minority, so people don't understand. It's much easier for me to push that guard out of the way and run through than it is to spend 20 minutes relaxing somebody. You see what I mean? So I can give him a job to do. I could give him my phone, my iPad, and something else and tell him I want you to look at messages and, try to figure something out between the three. Or I can have him juggle, and as he's juggling, I go through, what can you do to keep somebody busy so you go through? And that's what Raluca was saying earlier, critical mass. Hypnosis is relaxation, but on the opposite end is keeping your mind so busy that you don't know what to do, doing your taxes and having a conversation at the same time. You're trying to keep track of this, keep track of that, and then your kid comes in and says, can I borrow the car keys? You don't care. You know what I mean? Yesterday, somebody asked me online in a question on a comment on one of my videos. He goes, can I be hypnotized if I'm hearing voices in the background of someone talking? And I wrote back, it says, it's going to be even stronger that way, because as you're focusing on the voice and trying to figure out what it is, you're not resisting the conversation coming in. But be careful, if you're doing this on purpose, be careful what the voices are saying. Because even though if you can't hear them consciously, you can hear them all subconsciously.
Right.
Yeah. Our first subliminal CD we ever made was called 15 Voices. And what it was a conversations of 15 people at the same time. It was like being in a party, and each one of them was giving positive suggestions. And that was the entire CD. Because if you go into a room, a party, and you can listen to the person you're talking to and understand him.
Giving me ideas.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone else is white noise, right? You can't understand what they're saying. But if you stop talking to this person and you listen to the guy over there, you'll pick up every word he's saying, but everyone else is white noise. Then you can stop that conversation and listen to that person. And I figured that out. My very first hypnosis school I ever taught, I had 17 students. And this is before Raluca and I met, so I was teaching this by myself. What I do is I had 3 rooms, and I was standing like in the doorway between the 3 large rooms, and I had a bunch of, them broken up into 3 groups. They were all hypnotizing each other here, hypnotizing each other there and there. And what I would do is I stood in the middle, and I closed my eyes so I could relax and go into that alpha state. And I was listening to all conversations at the same time. And as soon as one person made a mistake, I opened my eyes, I went over there, you're going too fast. You shouldn't have said this, you say that. And I come back, close my eyes, and I go back to see this one. Now, I had 17 people, so they're all paired up, so there was 16. The 17th one was actually giving me suggestions in that middle place to help me to go back into a relaxed state. So it was kind of cool. Then I started thinking of that, so that would make a great way of hypnotizing people. And I remember the first time we did CDs, I went to, it was called Tree Frog Productions. This guy had this huge studio, soundproof, with one of these machines with all the slides for each voice. And I had recorded, probably 15, 20 different MP3s, or sessions that day. And as I was leaving, the guy says, hey, you want to hear something cool? I said, what's that? He goes, listen. He pulled all the slides down, and you could hear every single one at the same time talking. And it reminded me of that first school. And I told the guy, I said, if you listen to like slide number 5, you can understand the conversation, can't you? He goes, yeah. But you don't understand all of them. He goes, no. But now if we do it with 6 or 10, it's the same thing. And that's where I actually had him record all of them together, and it was called 15 Voices. Now, I thought that would be great. I thought it would be a big seller. I was so excited about it. But the problem was nobody wanted to buy it because it wasn't pretty. It didn't have the music. It was like being in a room full of people. It wasn't relaxing. So it kind of I still have it on my computer somewhere. I got several like that, but they just never worked out. So that's why, as long as it can be heard, that's the whole idea of subliminals. I start out by recording the voice that I want to do for subliminals, and then I'll put crickets over it and other music over it and cover it up with enough things that you can't hear it, but it's still there if you take everything out. So the subconscious mind will pick it up, even though you don't hear it.
Well, one of the things I do in a session is to make sure that they understand that you're going to hear noises throughout the session, and that's going to make you feel secure because it's natural and what you normally would hear. So you're going to be more comfortable because it is a natural setting for you. And that's something I always add in, just in case there's a car that goes by or a truck or whatever, and you never know what kind of noise is going to happen during a session. So that's, what I do.
Yeah, I've heard some people that say that.
Anybody else?
There's a few people that I've heard tell me that what they do is for noises, you'll be hearing noises outside, and that's just going to make you more relaxed. So
Correct.
It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Because it's natural and, what you would expect out of regular life. So not to be worried about that. That's good.
And if you can incorporate them into the session, that's great. So my office is on Main Street. So kids coming home from school, of course, they're going to stand right in front of your office window and have conversations while you're in session. Okay, of course that's going to happen. So I tell people, and it was cinder block walls with no windows in the hypnosis part. So, but you could still hear them on the other side of the wall. And I'd say, I could hear them faintly, but I knew the client heard them more. I says, as I'm speaking to you, listen to the voices of those teenagers. See if you can understand what they're saying. And after the session, I'm going to ask you. It's amazing how much more the voices are clearer in hypnosis. And they focus on that so much, they didn't even realize I was speaking to them. See what I mean? And that's that British guy out front of the door, gone completely. He's overlooking as the suggestions are running back and through, giggling and laughing. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So yeah, they can be incorporated. Even the telephone, if you forget to turn off the phone. Listen to the phone ringing. Each time it rings, you're going deeper and deeper. Imagine who's calling. It could be your mother. It could be my mother. It could be my mother calling your mother. Wonder why that is, I said, I'll be funny sometimes, and you can see them. You can joke with people in hypnosis. They're not dead, So have fun with them, So, maybe, and you see them snicker. So at least I know they're still with me, But yeah, incorporate them unless it's ridiculous. I had a group past life regression session once I was doing in the office. It was in the evening. Probably about 6 or 7, and they were having parades outside. It was like a holiday, and we had 3 brass bands stop right in front of my windows. And I had 6 foot tall by 8 foot wide, 3 windows together, and they were like boom, 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 and they're like bang, bang, bang. And the first band, one guy kind of snickered and opened his eyes, and I went, close your eyes, it's okay, And the second one, about 2 or 3 of them started. In the third one, I said, okay, everybody, open your eyes. The session's over for now. Let's go outside and watch the parade. So we went outside and watched it. I mean, sometimes you got to give in to the absurd, And we came back in and finished it. But yeah, in the third one, they opened their eyes and they were laughing. It's like, what can you do?
Nothing. At that point, it's over.
Yeah, Raluca had a fire alarm go off just above an older woman that was there for stress recovery.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I know it's not funny, Raluca. The lady goes, that was a rude awakening. They had to leave the office and everything. This is when she was in the 12th Street gym in Philadelphia. She had an office in the back.
I have a small office, and I saw there was something on the wall, but nobody has told me is the alarm for the entire gym in that office.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
So it was deafening. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to call 911 for this lady because she was, what?
Scared
80?
the heck out of her.
Yeah,
And
it was
she
a
thought
gym.
it was you.
And they built
We
a
went out.
relaxation session just for just for this kind of thing, a center. And so this room was built, this small group of rooms, and they don't think they realized they built one around the alarm.
oh
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, we have fun. Well,
Yeah, I guess so.
During the drill, and then we came back in. Of course, I spent another hour with her because, ugh.
Well, she was there to be hypnotized.
that's it.
Okay.
Well, anyways, it looks like no one was able to rewind our thing yet. So for those who are still watching, or those, because we're going to be ending shortly, those that watch this afterwards, if you could tell me what level of the Aaron Zepp scale you need to be in to be able to do amnesia type skits or amnesia, you can't remember your name. If you get the right level, I am going to send you our online mini, what is this, instant and rapid induction course. Ta-da! But only to the first one, not everybody, just to the first one that does it. So we're going to see
that the first, only the first one on Facebook?
On the first one, whoever is, actually, if they're on YouTube, they're not going to see Facebook, are they?
Yeah,
Okay.
the first one on Facebook, yes.
The first, yeah, because by the time I don't record this to YouTube till tomorrow. But let's have fun. We'll give it to the first one on Facebook and the first one on YouTube, because if I put it on tomorrow, the YouTubers are going to feel upset that they missed the Facebook one. So.
Well, I
we don't
have
want
an
them to
offer
compete.
too. If you want to go with the second person, I will offer a half hour of free training in tapping.
Oh, tap dance. I always wanted to learn to tap dance.
No, not tap dancing. Tapping on your meridians.
There's a
Thank you
visual
very
you'll never
much.
get out of your head.
Oh my God. Well, I can get
tap
on the
dancing.
table and dance. Yes, right. I do that all the time for my clients.
Yeah, there's a
I will be
visual
very
you'll never
happy if you want to do even two of them, one for each, for the second person that comes in either on here on Facebook or on YouTube. Whatever you would like, I'll be happy to donate that.
There we go. Half hour of meridian tapping. So that's tap
Thank
dancing.
you.
That's tap dancing in the Mediterranean, right? Is that what that means? Meridian?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And folks, if you're as confused as I think you are right now, I'm going to put her email address next to it so you can email her if you're the one that won, and she'll explain it to you. Okay, it's really not tap dancing. It's actually something it's a healing technique that will help you. How's that?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And
oh my goodness.
With that, anything else before we head out, Anthony?
I don't have any more questions.
You're not tired from doing, okay. You were doing that Mediterranean thing too, that dance, right?
I would have to
That's
try
all right.
that.
We'll do tapping on your hands so they don't hurt.
There we go. Ooh,
Appreciate
My
it.
gift to you.
Yeah, you'll have to put your hands, I'll do it too, but you have to put your hands on the ground, okay, so I could tap dance on them.
Okay.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I don't get very
Yes.
high.
And
Raluca,
Purple Heart. for
it's been a
Raluca.
pleasure, Raluca. It's been nice seeing you again.
Yeah.
And in case
Same here with everyone.
In case you can't hear me, it's been nice seeing you, Raluca. There we go. So she can hear me over there. And I'd like to
my
thank y'all for coming. Remember next week, PTSD with
Captain Jordan
Jordan
Wolf.
Wolf. Okay, I was testing you. Very good. Jordan, if you're watching, you didn't hear that. So we will see you all next week. And thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great week.
Bye.
We'll see ya.
Goodbye.